professional level. This is why.
Hey guys, so today we're going to be going over 5 things that I think you have to know about recruiting. And this isn't like coaches connections or other things like that. This is really about yourself and the things you need to understand about yourself that are going to make it as easy as possible in this complicated recruiting scenario to get to where you want to go. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy, but you have to know these things to move forward in this process. So, number 1, guys, and this is going to be the overwhelming guiding factor for you in the recruiting process is, what are your goals? What are your goals? If you want to play in the big leagues, that has to be a massive determining factor in where you end up playing. It may not make sense if you want to play in the big leagues to go sit the bench at LSU or at University of Florida or at Florida State. It's not going to make sense, right? If your goal is to play in the big leagues, you want to make a decision based on, okay, where am I going to have the best chance to play right away? And sure, if I do get on the field at LSU, it gives you a pretty good shot at getting to pro ball. But if you don't get on the field, now you're in the portal, and now you're kind of in the carousel that is college baseball, kind of post-portal. So goals have to be number 1. Again, academically. Maybe you want to go somewhere that gives you just a great education that's going to set you up for the rest of your life. Maybe you want to go to the Ivy Leagues. My alma mater, Georgia Tech, a Boston College, a Duke, a Vanderbilt. You may want top-level baseball, but you want that top-level education as well. That goal has to be continually in front of you. Meaning when you're putting in your work, you have to be constantly thinking about, okay, what's my end goal? And you can have goals along the way. I brought up, one of my goals when I was in high school was I wanted to be a freshman All-American because I had known a guy that had gone to college and became one. So that was my goal throughout high school, was to become one. Now, number 2, guys, is going to be evaluation, right? You have to know where you're at from an evaluation perspective. Meaning, what's your talent level right now? What's your floor? What's your ceiling? Where could you potentially get to? Where's going to be the best fit? We at Elite Sports Advising, this is the first thing we do with any potential client is go over where we see them at right now, talent-wise, as far as the type of schools they could get to. And then if they're, a year or 2 away from becoming it or getting into communication with schools, all right, you're here right now. If you can put in a serious year of hard work or a serious couple of years of hard work, this is where you can potentially get to. Understanding this is number 2, because after your goals, you have to know where you're at. Because knowing where you're at is going to affect what your goals are and what you want to do to get to those goals. So if you're a guy like me in high school, I could really run. I was an elite runner, but I was skinny, didn't hit for a lot of power, needed to put on weight. We talked about that in a previous video, but my goals needed to be in high school, get as strong as I possibly can get. Because I had the speed, but I needed to get that extra thump in my bat. I was never going to be a big-time power hitter, but I needed to get as much bat speed and stuff like before. This is before exit velocity was a thing, but hit the ball as hard as I could so I could get those doubles, triples, and every once in a while a home run. So number 2, you got to get that evaluation from really, unless your dad had a lot of experience in the game, and I promise you guys, and this isn't knocking anybody, but there's a lot of people out there in travel ball that have no idea what they're talking about on talent level of kids, on where they can end up. You need that from a trusted source who either coached at the college game, played at a high level, professionally, whatever. Someone, a third party that's going to be not biased, that's going to give you an honest evaluation on where you're at and where you could potentially get to. So that's number 2. Number 3, guys, is your training. Now, you know your goals, you know your evaluation, so what are you going to train and move forward to achieve those goals? I just brought up an example with me, but training, guys, and I had that video with about Miyamoto Musashi, and that is really the key to training, is you can only, let's apply it to baseball, you can only play as well as you train. You can only make the plays that you train to make. You can only hit the pitches that you train to hit. You can only hit the velocity that you train to hit. What does that mean? You're struggling with velocity, get in front of the machine, turn it up high, and take reps. And you're probably not going to do well for a round or two. Maybe it takes a day, but eventually you're going to make the adjustment, and that's going to become easier. If you're struggling with sliders, put sliders on the machine. You're facing a guy with a nasty breaking ball coming up. Put a nasty breaking ball in the machine. Guys, you have to, in baseball, we're so insecure about failing in BP and failing in the game, we have to embrace that. So when you're training, especially when it comes to baseball, I know you guys have heard me say this a bunch, you have to constantly be challenging yourself. You can have that round or two to make you feel good, get you warmed up, or maybe end on one of those rounds as well. But a good chunk of those rounds in the middle have got to be challenging, that are going to improve you as a hitter. How do you hit the 2 inches off the plate if you never do it in BP? And you're just going to take that in a game and strike out every time? I mean, is that what you're going to do? You're just, oh, well, it's a ball. No, it's not a ball. The umpire called it a strike. The umpire is what determines it being a ball or strike, whether it's in the strike zone or not. So you have to train these things because we have umpires that are going to call it. You know the guy when he's going to give it off. So you got to scoot up on the plate, make an adjustment, take a round of that in BP. Take a round of choking up 2 strikes in BP where your coach can throw you fastball, sliders, changeup, curveballs, everything like that. And fight and see how well you can do. That's going to make you a better player. So that number 3, I didn't even write it down, but that is training. And remember, guys, always, always, always challenging yourself. If it gets easy and all of a sudden you're not making errors or you're just crushing everything, make it harder. Make it harder. Okay, programs. Now we're talking about college programs here. College programs. One thing is, understanding your skill set, what your evaluation is, what you're training to become, but understanding different programs recruit different guys. For example, think about Wofford or Boston College now, who Coach Interdonato came from Wofford to Boston College. Both programs like to run like crazy. So if you're a guy that can really run, and you're looking at programs like that, Wofford and Boston College are places you're going to want to get to. Now, every program is going to be a little bit different. Some programs are going to be, hey, we need a bunch of boppers, we're trying to hit 3-run home runs, and that's how we're going to score runs. Some teams are going to be, a little bit of both. They're going to run some, Justin Hare did that at Campbell, and they could really run, they could really hit for power. Every program is going to be a little bit different. You're going to have those balanced programs. You're going to have the big bopper programs, the speed guys. We're seeing a lot of different offenses. And the other thing is, it's not just about, an offense or a pitching style or how the pitching coach teaches his guys. It's also about, okay, what kind of players do they like? Are you the type of player that this coach is going to fall in love with? Or are you going to be kind of a constant headache to him? Understanding what coaches like, the type of players they like. And this is something, again, you need someone with connections to get for you. But it's important to understand, all right, are you walking into a coaching staff that's really going to like the type of player you are? They may think you're a good player, but are they going to like your personality? Are they going to like the way you play the game, the way you kind of work into the game every day? That's something you want to know. Obviously, the other thing is facilities, the campus, how they assist you in academics. All of that is things you need to start taking into consideration, especially when you start getting in communication with schools and things really start to be serious. You got to get your research done on that. So that's number 4 is the programs. Number 5 is your commitment level. Guys, I hate to say this, but most of you guys out there probably are not committed enough to the goal that you want to achieve, right? It's easy to set that goal, super easy, and it's really easy to convince ourselves we're doing enough to get to that goal. The reality is, and most of you guys will know this right away, most of us know exactly what we need to do every day to get to where we want to be, but we just don't do it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it another day. I don't feel like doing it today. I got to do that homework, or I've been sitting around at home all day not doing anything, but I can't do it now because I got to do the homework. Guys, if your goals are to play at a high-level Division I, get to professional baseball, you have to start taking that seriously now. You can't just sit there and hope it's going to happen. The guys that get there and have success, I mean, they've been working towards this goal for 3 or 4 years, at least 3 or 4 years. You know, do I think it's going to matter that much how serious you are in middle school? You got a lot of growing left to do, a lot of maturing physically. But once you get to high school, it's got to be serious. And you have to take it seriously. Be committed to what you're doing. So guys, it's easy to convince ourselves we're doing enough. Make sure every day you are checking yourself and think, okay, if my goal is to get here in 3 years, did I do something today that's going to make it easier for me to achieve that? And if the answer is no, go do something. Get something done. You're going to build a habit that will allow you to kind of every day try to get something done. Okay, guys, hope this helps. Any questions, any thoughts you have, hit us up in the comments. Again, if you're looking for help in the recruiting process, go to EliteSportsAdvising.com. On our front page, fill out an eval request. We'll connect you with the advisor that's in your region of the U.S., and we'll go from there. See if you guys are a fit. We'd love to work with you. But again, thanks for all the support, guys. We'll be back with another video soon.